too, wasn't it?
Second day was very dangerous. They had a lot of trucks mixed with the cars, and they've got a lot of horsepower and big tyres. And it was very, very dusty. So that was the scary bit, because many cars would get stuck in the dust, and then the trucks would come screaming through the dust and hit them in the back, and some caught on fire, some crashed and broke the car in half and end for ended down the road. So all this was happening, and we knew it was dangerous. So as soon as somebody was in the dust stuck, it was safer just to go into the bushes, because the bushes, at least the trucks won't run over the top of you. So that was a little bit scary. I think that might have been the scariest I've ever been.
Days, for sure.
Coming off of big sand dunes is not scary compared to that, because you can't see.
You cannot, from here to the distance, you can't see it.
You had to have the wipers on flat. The dust was coming that hard on the windscreen that you had to have the wipers on to get it off so you could see.
Inside, just so much dust, especially in a big truck just passed through next to it. It's big dust, just we couldn't even breathe.
That was in the Atacama Desert, and we were up on top of the dune, and we'd gone a different way to everybody because the sand was quite soft. We got up to the top, and
coming down,
the GPS, Harry's saying we have to go through that mountain. I said, well, let's go round the bottom of the mountain because it's too big to go. So I said, look, we looked off the edge of the sand dune, and right down looked like the bottom of the valley was some tyre tracks in the sand. So I've gone, I will go down there. So I just drove off the edge, and I was in second gear low range. I started accelerating, and then the car started accelerating down the hill, and it was bouncing like that off one wheel at a time, and I've had my foot hard on the pedal, on the brake pedal, and the wheels were locked, but it still was flying down this dune. I said, Harry, it's not a bad speed, but we can't stop because I can't push the brake pedal anymore. It's harder. It's as hard as I can push it, and it just free fall down the side of this sand dune. And then we got to the bottom, and it was okay. But if something hit something, it would have rolled and crashed, but it was nearly out of control. Well, it was not fully in control.
Sort of. Probably, and example how big the sand dune. We actually on top of the sand dune, actually helicopter, chopper, actually you can see from up top. So you can see that high, So flying, actually, higher than helicopters.
We'd been travelling up these really rocky creek beds, and Hummer. So he started behind us, and then he passed us. We didn't want to go too fast in the rocks because you get punches too easy. And then up the road, we passed him, and he had a tyre, changed the flat tyre. So then another half an hour later, he came screaming past us. And then up the road, we passed him again. He had something come loose. He was bolting something back on. And then we drive along, and then they come past again. And then we saw him in this big ravine. And he had his tow right.
Strap already.
Yeah. So the rule is, unwritten rule with the racing, is if you're stuck and you have a tow rope, connect to the car, and the navigator's holding it up. So the next car comes along, he just has to hook up. You don't even get out of the car. You just pull them out, and then the navigator of the other car disconnects. So it should only take maybe 30 seconds or 1 minute to help them. So we felt sorry because we had passed them so many times and they have so many problems. So we went over and we pulled it. The first time I did a little pull because I thought it wasn't stuck so bad, but it was so badly stuck. I hit it a big time and hit it. And anyway, we got him out. It took a bit of pulling and we got him out, and he came up to us later in the dust and hit it, and we were just made a mistake and we were looking for another road, and he hit the side of us. And then I went up to him that night and said, what are you doing? You helped through, and then you hit in the side of our car. And he said, I'm sorry, you were backing and I couldn't see in the dust. And he said, I couldn't believe that D-Max, how much power to pull that car out of he was so badly stuck. He was very surprised.
Yeah, that size difference, and how much like big, wide, and compared with that, our D-Max like so tiny.
And we pulled him
out. And pulled him out.
Yeah.
So
that was a bit of fun. So he bought us some beers for that. We're used to racing in Australia when the only spectators is cows and
kangaroos.
Yeah, and sometimes emus. You might get some emus. So when we went to the ceremonial start, which was on the Tuesday, on the 2nd, we went to in the crowd, and it built during the day because there's 290 bikes. They went through the crowd to the ceremonial start. Then 190 cars, and then there was 100 trucks. So the crowd built during the day, and it started off at 200,000, and then 500,000, and it got to the local newspapers were saying 1 million people, and it was just unbelievable. The excitement, and it was just little kids to grandparents, just everybody. So it was like a football crowd you see on TV.
Probably more.
Yeah, and then but there was some really nice things. We got stuck because the crowd surged onto the cars. It created traffic jams, and while we were waiting in the traffic jam, we only expected to take 1 hour to do 6 kilometres through the city, but we took
3 hours, more than
3 and 3/4 hours. So we didn't have any water. So I went to the crowd. I said, I got some money. I said, can you go and, does anyone speak English? And I said, the young boy said, I said, can you go and get us a bottle of water? So I gave him some money. He went away, and he went away because the shop wasn't open, and he went a couple of blocks away. But by the time he came back, 2 people had given us brand new bottles of cold, unopened water. He came back with a big bottle, and he gave me money back. And I said, here, you keep the change. And he said, no. The shop didn't want to, they wanted to give us things. So the crowd were giving us things, and then they got in the surge. They were just so excited. We were signing autographs and hats and things, but people started signing our car. It was quite interesting, that relationship with such a mass of people. While we're doing the race on a different road, which was 370 kilometres, it's full of people. Every corner has 5,000 people. So I don't know the crowd numbers for that day, but it was in the millions, and it just was just every time we got near a major city, it was traffic jams, gridlock, crazy. You 2 lanes coming into the city, and it stopped from the crowd. So we have to go up the wrong side of the road, and they have a lot of police and military controlling the crowds and traffic. As diesel emission, the best thing we can share with the public is show how the way the new technology's gone. It's now, I don't know why you'd want to drive a gasoline. The car, it's so much quieter than they used to be. There's no smoke. There's instant power, and when you have to go to fill up, it's so much easier on the pocket when you have to put the fuel in. I think now, where the way that diesel technology, especially the D-Max, is the racing that we're doing is proving that the diesel is now, with the technology, has become much better. That it's faster than the gasoline, and better for the environment. So it's I think most people will be racing diesels in the next few years.